Some fans of Corey Harrison, the big hoss of the hit reality TV show Pawn Stars, have described him in an unexpected light, even going as far as to say he looks like a junkie. This seems particularly shocking when considering his big personality, undeniable charm, and the authenticity he brings to the show. These qualities have played an integral role in the success of Pawn Stars and have helped build Corey's reputation as a beloved celebrity. As the oldest son of Rick Harrison, and with the recent loss of his grandfather and the impending retirement of his father, Corey, who had long held the position of third in command, is now poised to take over the family business as the new big boss of the gold and silver pawn shop. However, despite his love for the pawnbroking business and his deep interest in collectibles, Corey's life has been marked by personal struggles and challenges that few are aware of. Born in 1983, Corey Harrison grew up amidst the hustle and bustle of the pawn business. His grandfather, who founded the gold and silver coin shop in 1981, laid the groundwork for what would later become a family-owned empire. Corey's father, Rick Harrison, worked tirelessly alongside his father to build the business from the ground up. The family was always focused on creating something lasting and meaningful that Corey and his siblings could inherit. By the time Corey was 3 years old, the family business had grown to such an extent that they needed to relocate to a larger space at 413 Fremont Street. Despite these early growing pains, things seemed to be going well, until the family faced the unexpected loss of their lease. This setback put them in a tough spot, but they were able to quickly find a new building in a commercial neighborhood on Las Vegas Boulevard, which allowed them to expand their secondhand business. At the same time, the Harrisons had started considering a transition from being just a secondhand store to opening a full-fledged pawn shop, which seemed like the natural next step for the growing business. However, they encountered a significant legal hurdle: the 1955 Las Vegas law that restricted the issuing of new pawn shop licenses based on the city's population. For the Harrisons to open a pawn shop, the population of Las Vegas needed to surpass 250,000. In 1988, Las Vegas's population had only reached just over 200,000, and Rick had to wait for it to reach the magic number. Every week, he reached out to the city statistician, anxiously awaiting confirmation. When, in 1989, the population finally reached 250,000, Rick was granted the pawn license, and the family wasted no time opening the gold and silver pawn shop at 713 Las Vegas Boulevard South, just a stone's throw from the Las Vegas Strip. Corey grew up in the family business, and from a young age he was very much a part of the gold and silver pawn shop's day-to-day operations. He spent much of his childhood working alongside his father and grandfather, learning the ins and outs of the pawn business. Unfortunately, not long after the family relocated their business, Corey's parents divorced, and Corey and his younger brother Adam were primarily raised by their father. Shortly afterward, Corey's father Rick met Tracy, who became his second wife. Tracy took on the responsibility of raising Corey and his brother, and Corey, by then, had grown into a mature young man. At just 9 years old, he decided to kickstart his career by working at the pawn shop, showing an early interest in the business that would eventually become his life's work. As the gold and silver pawn shop's business grew, so did the family's wealth and reputation. By the time Corey was 22 years old, the shop was lending about $3 million annually and bringing in roughly $700,000 in interest. The shop's growing success caught the attention of the public and was even featured in the 2003 episode of Insomniac with Dave Attell, showcasing its importance in Las Vegas's local culture. But the biggest leap came in 2008 when Rick Harrison pitched the idea of a reality TV show about the pawn shop. After years of unsuccessful attempts to get the show off the ground, Rick's vision was finally realized when producers Brent Montgomery and Colby Gaines visited Las Vegas. They quickly saw the potential in Rick's pawn shop, especially considering the unique dynamic of the family and the interesting characters involved. The show, originally named Pawning History, was rebranded to Pawn Stars, playing on the similarities between pawn and porn. Premiering in 2009, the show immediately became a sensation, skyrocketing the Harrison family to fame and turning their shop into a cultural landmark. For Corey, the show became a launching pad for his career. Fans of Pawn Stars were drawn to his personality, his sharp wit, and, of course, his deep knowledge of the pawn business. As the third-generation pawn dealer, Corey had a keen eye for collectibles and was often the one responsible for appraising items and negotiating deals. His ability to spot counterfeits and accurately price valuable items made him an essential part of the show, and over time, he became one of the fan favorites. However, the road to success wasn't always smooth for Corey. When he was just 19, he made a costly mistake when he purchased 5 fake Rolex watches. He later reflected on the incident, admitting that he thought he knew everything at the time, but learned the hard way that thorough research and caution were paramount in his line of work. "I thought I knew everything. Buying those fake watches was a huge mistake," Corey confessed. "Luckily, I worked for my dad. If I hadn't, I might have lost my job." This experience taught him valuable lessons that would stay with him throughout his career. Despite these early missteps, Corey's expertise in appraising items continued to grow. He would often share his memorable experiences with fans, such as the time a customer tried to pawn a live parrot, which he, wisely, turned away. He also recalled the time a man brought in 8 human skulls, claiming they were from a dental school, but Corey decided not to buy them due to the potential legal issues involved. Another time, a customer arrived in a luxury car with a trunk full of silver worth millions of dollars. These kinds of unusual, high-stakes transactions were what made Pawn Stars so compelling to viewers. While the show was a great success, it didn't shield Corey from personal struggles. Over the years, he battled with his weight, and some of the harsh comments made by viewers, including comparisons to a junkie, really affected him. As a public figure, it's hard to escape criticism, and Corey's journey was no exception. However, he's always managed to rise above the negativity, focusing on his work and maintaining the positive public persona that made him so beloved. But Corey's struggles weren't just about body image. His family life also brought its own challenges. Although his relationship with his father remained strong, Corey's personal journey took a toll on him. The pressures of being the heir apparent to the family business and the responsibility of managing the gold and silver pawn shop loomed large. Despite his struggles, Corey continued to play an important role at the shop, and the fans of Pawn Stars could always count on him for his expert insights and lively banter. Corey's dedication to the business paid off when he was officially named as the successor to his father, Rick Harrison. With his father's planned retirement, Corey was now in line to take over the gold and silver pawn shop. But the transition wasn't going to be easy. Corey was not only taking on a huge family legacy, but he was also doing so under the intense scrutiny of the public eye. His journey as the new boss of the pawn shop would surely come with new challenges, but Corey's resilience and ability to adapt to difficult circumstances proved that he was more than capable of handling the task. As of today, Corey continues to work at the gold and silver pawn shop, helping it thrive. While his social media presence has been quieter in recent years, he remains an important figure in the world of collectibles and has proven himself to be a skilled pawn dealer and an accomplished businessman. Fans continue to root for him, not just because of his expertise, but because of the hard work, determination, and resilience he has shown throughout his career and personal life. Looking ahead, the future of Corey Harrison seems filled with opportunities. As the new head of the family business, he is positioned to lead the gold and silver pawn shop into its next chapter. Though he will undoubtedly face challenges in the years to come, his ability to learn from his mistakes, his passion for the pawn business, and his strong family support will ensure that he remains a beloved figure in the world of Pawn Stars. His journey, from a young boy working in the shop to becoming the big hoss of the pawn world, is far from over, and the next chapter of Corey's life promises to be just as exciting as the last. Corey Harrison, often seen as the backbone of the gold and silver pawn shop, has faced challenges both inside and outside the pawn business. Though his journey has been filled with ups and downs, he's continually proven his resilience, both professionally and personally. From managing a bustling pawn shop to making life-altering decisions about his health, Corey has grown into a multifaceted individual, both admired and tested by the pressures of life in the public eye. One key moment in Corey's life, which some fans may not know, came when a customer came straight from the casino, eager to sell his Ferrari in exchange for quick cash to fund his gambling habits. Corey, who was already used to working under pressure, was forced to deal with this demanding situation as early as 7 a.m. These kinds of encounters, dealing with eccentric customers and high-value items, were not uncommon in the pawn business, but they also brought to light the generational differences between Corey and his father, Rick. Their clashes were often rooted in how each viewed the future of the business, which led to inevitable tensions. Despite these moments of conflict, Rick couldn't deny that Corey had developed impressive qualities when it came to managing the family business. He was put in charge of overseeing operations at the shop, which included managing a team of over 30 employees. His leadership skills were put to the test daily, as he balanced overseeing the pawn shop's day-to-day operations with his ability to build strong relationships within the business and among customers. Corey's hands-on approach and knack for leadership became crucial to the shop's continued success. One of the most notable demonstrations of Corey's managerial skill came when he hired a young 21-year-old by the name of Austin Chumley Russell. Chumley, who would eventually become one of the most beloved personalities on Pawn Stars, was brought on for his unique social skills and customer service abilities. Corey, who had an eye for talent, recognized Chumley's potential from the very beginning. Over time, Chumley's quirky charm and personality made him a central figure on the show, earning him a fan base of his own. Many fans now look back and appreciate Corey's insight in bringing Chumley into the fold, knowing how much Chumley would contribute to the show's success. Beyond his business acumen, Corey also helped raise the family's public profile. By strategically expanding the Harrison family's presence on social media, Corey tapped into new forms of entertainment, which further bolstered their connection to fans. A memorable guest appearance on iCarly, where Corey, Rick, and Chumley made a cameo, showcased their playful personalities and made fans fall even more in love with them. The trio's undeniable chemistry and humor made their appearance on the show a hit. In July 2014, Corey, Rick, and Chumley took their brand to new heights by launching the game show Pawnography on the History Channel. The trivia show, where the three of them competed against contestants in a high-stakes trivia battle, was a way for the trio to engage with fans and showcase their witty personalities. It was a fun and entertaining way to bring fans closer to the Pawn Stars universe, adding yet another layer to their public personas and cementing Corey's role in the family business. However, as successful as Corey's career appeared, his relationship with his father, Rick, was far from simple. Tensions began to rise as Corey sought a more prominent role in the business, driven by his increasing sense of responsibility. Rick, who held the majority of the company, was not immediately willing to hand over control, and he believed Corey still had more to prove. This led to an intense moment in Season 6 of Pawn Stars, when Corey, frustrated by what he saw as a lack of recognition for his contributions, demanded a 10% share in the gold and silver pawn shop, threatening to leave the business if his request wasn't granted. While some fans saw this as a bold and necessary move, others believed Corey could have waited longer, allowing the natural progression of inheritance to take its course. After a series of discussions, Rick offered Corey a 5% stake in the business, with the possibility of more in the future. Corey accepted the deal, a turning point in both his professional life and his relationship with his father. Reports have since suggested that Corey's share in the family business has grown over the years, reflecting his increasing responsibility and dedication. But Corey's path wasn't without personal challenges. In a harrowing moment, Corey came close to losing his life in a motorcycle accident while on his way to pick up supplies for his birthday party. At 40 miles per hour, Corey had to jump off his bike to avoid a catastrophic crash. This sudden maneuver caused his motorcycle to spin out of control and break apart. Despite the severity of the accident, Corey didn't go to the hospital immediately. Instead, he returned to his party, though later he sought medical attention for a serious hand injury that required surgery. The accident served as a stark reminder of how fragile life could be, and Corey has since reflected on how lucky he felt to have survived that close call. Another issue that weighed heavily on Corey's mind was his health. Known for being the big guy on Pawn Stars, Corey had reached a weight of 400 pounds, a fact that began to impact his overall health. His doctor put him on preventative diabetes medication, prompting a major wake-up call. The possibility of developing diabetes was enough to convince Corey to reassess his lifestyle. After a visit to the doctor's office, feeling discouraged, Corey drove past a clinic offering lap band surgery. On impulse, he decided to take action, even though he didn't have much money at the time. Using 4 credit cards to cover the cost, Corey committed to changing his life. Corey's decision to undergo lap band surgery marked the beginning of a major physical transformation. He became fully committed to improving his health, embracing a new lifestyle that involved regular checkups, healthier eating habits, and an exercise routine. He also shared his journey publicly, inspiring many of his fans. His transformation was so profound that even his close friend Chum Lee decided to embark on his own weight loss journey. While Corey's commitment to his health was commendable, it was bittersweet, as it came during a time when his beloved grandfather, the old man, was battling Parkinson's disease, an illness that took everyone by surprise. Corey's evolution, both personally and professionally, continues to inspire those who follow the Pawn Stars franchise. His dedication to improving his health, the way he has navigated his relationship with his father, and his significant contributions to the family business are just a few of the facets that make his story so compelling. Though Corey has faced his share of challenges, including moments of tension, personal loss, and health scares, he has emerged stronger, with a renewed commitment to living a full, balanced life. As fans continue to watch Corey's journey unfold, there's no doubt that he will remain a central figure in the Pawn Stars legacy for years to come. Corey Harrison's life has been a roller coaster of highs and lows, both professionally and personally. In 2018, Corey faced one of the most heart-wrenching losses of his life when his grandfather, Richard Benjamin Harrison, known to fans of Pawn Stars as the Old Man, passed away. He was 77 years old. The cause of death was Parkinson's disease, and his passing marked a profound turning point for Corey. Both he and his father, Rick, shared their grief with fans, with Corey expressing his deep gratitude for the time spent with his grandfather. He described the old man not just as a relative, but as a friend, someone who made their time together at the pawn shop and on the show so memorable. As if 2018 couldn't get any more difficult, Corey's personal life also took a dramatic turn. In September 2018, Corey and his second wife, Karina Kiki Harrison, decided to divorce. Their demanding work schedules were cited as the primary reason for the split. Despite their separation, the couple remained on good terms, and from their union, they had a son, Richard Benjamin Harrison Jr., named after Corey's late grandfather. This marked Corey's second divorce, as his first marriage to his high school sweetheart Charlene ended in 2015 after 6 years together. Corey's complicated love life has been a point of curiosity for fans over the years. Following his divorce from Kiki, there were rumors that they might rekindle their relationship, but neither Corey nor Kiki confirmed anything about a potential reconciliation. Corey has also been linked to Tara Paisley, a blonde woman frequently seen in his Instagram photos. though the nature of their relationship remains unclear. In addition to personal challenges, Corey found himself in legal trouble. On September 8, 2023, he was arrested in Las Vegas on suspicion of driving under the influence, DUI. A police officer noticed his white Ford pickup truck swerving, and upon stopping him, the officer detected the smell of alcohol. Corey was asked to perform a field sobriety test, which he failed. He was taken to the Las Vegas City Jail, where the breathalyzer was broken, and he was asked to provide a blood sample. The results of the blood test have yet to be disclosed, but Corey faced charges for DUI. In a statement to a Las Vegas newspaper, Corey clarified that he had only had one drink on his flight to Vegas and hadn't consumed any alcohol after landing. He attributed his poor performance on the sobriety test to an infected shin, which made balancing difficult on the uneven road where he was stopped. As 2024 began, Corey Harrison, best known for his role on Pawn Stars, found himself confronted with an unthinkable tragedy that would alter the course of his year. Just as life seemed to be regaining a semblance of normalcy, he faced a heartbreaking loss that shook him to his core: the untimely passing of his younger brother, Adam Harrison. At just 39 years old, Adam's life was tragically cut short due to a lethal combination of fentanyl and methamphetamine overdose. For those who followed the Harrison family on Pawn Stars, Adam wasn't a frequent face on television, but he was an integral part of the gold and silver pawn shop behind the scenes. Adam had once worked at the shop before pursuing a career in plumbing. His death came as a devastating blow to Corey and the rest of the family, particularly given Adam's history of being a quieter, more reserved member of the Harrison clan. The circumstances surrounding his death were stark. Adam's landlord found him unresponsive after several days of being unreachable. It was a tragic end to a life marked by struggles, and it would forever leave an indelible mark on Corey's journey. The outpouring of grief was immediate and overwhelming. Corey, known for his public persona as a tough businessman, took to Instagram to share his sorrow with his followers. In a deeply personal post, he shared a photo of himself and Adam enjoying a meal together at a restaurant, a seemingly ordinary moment that now held much more weight. The caption was simple but heartfelt. "You'll always be in my heart. I love you, Adam." It was a raw and emotional tribute to his brother that resonated with fans who had grown to love the Harrison family over the years. Corey's father, Rick Harrison, also expressed his pain publicly, echoing his son's sentiments while shedding light on the larger issue at play: the fentanyl epidemic that has claimed so many lives across the country. The elder Harrison, always a man of conviction, used his platform to highlight the growing crisis of fentanyl overdoses, calling for more awareness and action. For the Harrison family, the loss of Adam was a reminder of the broader public health crisis that continues to ravage communities, and it was clear they were not only mourning their own personal loss, but also calling for change in the wake of it. The ripple effects of Adam's passing were felt far and wide. Fans flooded Corey's social media with messages of sympathy, and many public figures, including Donald Trump Jr., offered their condolences. Yet, while the support was heartfelt, for Corey, the void left by his brother's death was something that no amount of public sympathy could fill. The grief was deep, and the weight of it lingered. Amid this immense personal loss, Corey did what he had always done best. He kept moving forward. He continued to work at the gold and silver pawn shop alongside his father, Rick, and his longtime friend, Chumley. The Harrison family's business was thriving, and the popularity of Pawn Stars showed no signs of waning. At the time of Adam's death, the second season of Pawn Stars Do America was already in production, and despite the emotional toll of his brother's death, Corey remained an essential part of the show. However, as the cameras rolled and the pawn shop continued to buzz with activity, a new challenge arose. Rumors about Corey's health began to circulate. Fans, ever observant, noted that Corey appeared rough during a recent visit to the shop. Whispers of concern about his well-being spread across social media, with some speculating that Corey might be suffering from a stroke or dealing with substance abuse issues. The speculation ran wild, fueled by the emotional turmoil Corey had experienced following Adam's passing. Yet the rumors were just that, rumors. There was no official confirmation or concrete evidence to suggest that Corey was battling any serious health issues beyond the emotional strain of recent events. It's possible that the stress from losing his brother, coupled with the pressures of public life, had taken a toll on his appearance, but nothing more was ever verified. Fans, while concerned, were left with nothing but conjecture. Corey, for his part, remained relatively quiet in response to the speculation. His focus was on maintaining the legacy of his family and continuing his work at the pawn shop. Despite the emotional upheaval and the relentless rumors, Corey exhibited a remarkable resilience. He was no stranger to adversity, and this latest chapter in his life only seemed to reinforce his determination to keep moving forward. The Harrison family, already accustomed to public scrutiny, had faced many challenges over the years. Corey had endured personal struggles, professional setbacks, and the weight of carrying on the family business. Yet through it all, he had never faltered. He had become a symbol of perseverance, a man who faced life's hardships head-on and continued to work hard for what he believed in. Despite the personal and emotional challenges, Corey's professional trajectory was clear. With his father, Rick, considering retirement and rumors of a possible foray into politics, the spotlight was shifting toward Corey. It seemed inevitable that sooner or later he would be the one to take the reins of the gold and silver pawn shop. The world had watched him grow from a young man working the counter at his family's pawn shop to a key figure in the family business and a television personality in his own right. Now, as Rick began to contemplate his future beyond the pawn shop, it was Corey's time to step up and lead. For now, however, Corey Harrison continues to navigate his way through life's challenges with unwavering resolve. While the loss of his brother, Adam, continues to weigh heavily on his heart, Corey's journey is far from over. He is still a central figure in the world of Pawn Stars, a show that has not only shaped his career, but also cemented his place in the public consciousness. As he works alongside his father and Chumley, Corey is carving out his own legacy in the business world, one built on perseverance, family values, and an unrelenting commitment to the gold and silver pawn shop. In the coming years, it is clear that Corey's role in the Harrison family business will only grow. Whether he eventually becomes the next big boss or continues to navigate the personal and professional ups and downs, one thing is certain: Corey Harrison's story is far from over, and as the world watches, we'll continue to witness his journey unfold, an inspiring testament to the strength of the human spirit and the enduring legacy of the Harrison family.